So as discussed in our previous lecture, we said that sampling theorem says that fs should be at least greater than or equals to twice of the maximum frequency component of our analog signal, that is the signal which is in our time domain. So in this video we will discuss this thing in a very much detail. So why sampling is needed, okay, that we will see, and we will see all of this in thorough detail with examples. So as we all know that this is our analog signal in time domain, okay, and cos omega naught t plus phi after being sampled, okay, that is by replacing t by nts we get cos n omega naught t, correct. Now consider three signals in time domain: cos 6 pi t, 14 pi t and 26 pi t. So as we all know, the standard form is cos 2 pi ft. So this has frequency of 3 hertz, this has 7 hertz and this has 13 hertz, okay. Just by comparing this with standard form we get f as 3, 7 and 13 for these three signals respectively, right? Now what we want that first case, let us sample these three signals, okay, by choosing our sampling interval as t equals 0.1 second. So just putting t by nts, okay, we get cos 0.6 pi n, here we get cos 1.4 pi n, and here we get cos 2.6 pi n, right? Now just I'm writing again this thing. So this cos 0.6 pi n, okay, let me write on another page all this thing. Okay, so I have just written the sampled version, okay. This is of case number 1 where we get, okay, when we substitute ts as 0.1 second. So just we have substituted t in this three signals by nts where ts is 0.1. So we are left with this three signals from these three signals, okay. So you can see that cos 1.4 pi n can be written as 2 pi n minus 0.6 pi n. Just I am writing 1.4 as 2 pi minus 0.6, and similarly we can write this as 2 pi n plus 0.6 pi n, and we know that cos 2 pi n minus theta is nothing but our cos theta. So we are left with this, and over here also cos 2 pi plus theta will be again cos theta only. So you can clearly see that all these three signals which were different in time domains, after being sampled at t equals nts with ts as 0.1 second, all the three signals are the same, and this is not what we want, okay. So this effect is called aliasing effect, okay. Over here what happens, all the frequencies, that is which one, we have 7 hertz and 13 hertz, both poses to 3 hertz only, and this is the distortion, or we can say error, and this effect is called aliasing effect, and this distortion is called aliasing distortion, right? And we have to avoid this aliasing distortion anyhow. So now let's consider second case in which I am just choosing random ts 0.02 seconds, okay. So this implies that our fs, which is nothing but 1 upon ts, is 50 hertz, right? Now again just sample this time domain signals, we will again get cos 0.12 pi n, just replace t by nts where ts is 0.02 second. Over here we get 0.28, and over here we get 26 to the 52. So now you can see that all the frequency components are distinct, right? So distinct frequency components. So we can say that over here what is happening, just because we have chosen some different sampling interval, or we can say some different sampling frequency. Okay, in first case, what was our sampling frequency? It is nothing but 1 upon fs, so 1 upon ts, so it was 10 hertz, but now it was 50 hertz. So now this all three signals retain their original frequency components, unlike the case number 1 where all signals poses to 3 hertz. So we have successfully overcome the aliasing distortion, correct? So this distortion is being overcome just by choosing our sampling interval, or we can say sampling frequency. So it means that this is just a random guess. Okay, this was the random guess of 0.02 or 50 hertz. So our main task is how we can find, okay, some value of fs, okay, that is the minimum value of fs that is needed in order to avoid this aliasing effect. So this was just the random guess. So let's say we have 20 hertz as fs. So can it reduce the aliasing effect or not? Okay, that we will see. So for that, again, let us revisit case number 1, and now I am proving the same thing, okay, but just with a different method. Okay, so what I am saying is that, as we all know from our previous video, that our maximum value of omega, that is digital frequency, should be pi. Okay, and as we all know, we have negative frequency concept. Just to simplify our mathematical computation, our omega must lie between -pi to +pi, both included. So maximum value of omega, as discussed, will be pi. So you can clearly see that over here what happened. Just compare with cos omega n. So over here you can say our omega value is 0.6 pi. Over here you can say our omega value is 1.4 pi, and over here our omega value is 2.6 pi. So you can see that in this case only our value of omega is less than or equals to pi. Whether in this case as well as in this case our value is not less than or equals to pi. So this condition of omega less than or equals to pi was not satisfied, and that's why we got aliasing, right? In worst case, if it's equals to pi, then also we will not get aliasing. Okay, that will be the boundary threshold value. But if it is not satisfied, if it is greater than pi, okay, you can see clearly that 1.4 pi is always greater than pi, right? So because of not satisfying this condition, we are getting aliasing. So now our task here is that in order to find that fs, that threshold, we can say that our maximum value, okay, of omega should be equals to pi, because up till pi we can allow. So now what we will do, we will see that in all these three signal, the maximum frequency signal was this, okay, with frequency of 13 hertz. So you can say that I am writing this again, that cos 26 pi t can be written as cos 2 pi ft. This is the standard form, cos 2 pi ft. So just comparing this to our f is 13 hertz, right? Now just sampling it, okay, by nts. So I am just replacing this 26 now can be written as 2 pi 13 t, okay, because our f is 13 over here. Now sampling this signal, that is replacing t by nts, we can get 2 pi 13 and t is replaced by nts. Now what we want the worst case scenario, that is the threshold value, that if we have cos pi n, that also will be okay. So we want this, okay, cos 2 pi 13 nts should be equal to cos pi n, then also we can avoid, okay, this. I hope this is visible now. So just I have written t by nts. Now we want, in order to avoid aliasing effect, we want that our frequency omega should be maximum value, okay, which is given by this, should be equal to pi. So this whole thing should be equal to pi, right? Just compare this to n is as it is. So what value of TS will give this equation as pi? Because this 13 to the is 26. So the value of TS should be equal to 1 by 26, because if we substitute 1 by 26 over here, 13 to the 26 will get cancelled and we are left with just cos pi n. So we can say that our value of TS should be 1 by 26, or you can say that our Fs should be equals to 26 Hertz in order to avoid aliasing effect. Okay, so the minimum value of Fs that we should consider should be equal to 26 Hertz, and over here we have just random guess of 50 Hertz. Okay, or we can say random guess of TS of 0.02 seconds, and that's why over here we are getting distinct frequency components. If we consider 20, okay, you will not get the distinct frequency components that you can cross verify. So you can say that the minimum frequency that is required in order to avoid the aliasing effect is nothing but our 26 Hertz, and this is nothing but our sampling theorem, which says that our sampling frequency should be at least twice of the maximum frequency component in our analog signal, right? So this is nothing but our sampling theorem in mathematical form, and this is the simplest proof of our sampling theorem, okay, which you can ever get, right? So I hope you all like the video, and keep sharing and keep learning. Thank you.